Welcome back. For those who are new, my name is Dwayne LaRue. This is my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. I will read all comments. I'm nosy, so I need to know what's going on. The purpose, this video, I'll be focusing on just a little bit about me, going in detail, about some of the things that I've been through. And, a little walk of history, as I say, about my life. Again, I'm Dwayne LaRue. I'll be 40 on Monday. Happy birthday to myself. It feels good to be 40. I feel 40 knee-wise, arthritis, but I don't look 40. I feel like I look 34, 35, so I'm young looking. Born and raised south side of Chicago, east side of south side of Chicago, pretty much the lakefront area. Had a tough childhood growing up. My mom was on drugs growing up, and her and my dad wasn't together that I could ever remember. They was at war all the time. And it was so many things that we went through because of her being on drugs. I don't even know where to start, man. You talking about from having roaches to being poor to sometimes not having lights, not having heat, not having, the necessities that you need in life to live. And it took a toll on me as I got older. Now I think about it from an emotional standpoint, because it affected all of my relationships with women. While I was emotionally unavailable, I had anger issues towards women, just some kind of like a rage, suffered from abandonment. But it made me, who I am today, but it also made me who I am today. And I have so many stories of guys coming to our house with guns, getting money, trying to get, taking our rent money. My grandma, of course, my grandma was pretty much the backbone of our, of all families. Big mama, she the one worked, and we pretty much stayed with her. But guys coming to our house, my mom coming home with black eyes. You talking about going to school and everybody in the neighborhood know your mom is on drugs. You talking about some of your classmates, your mom and their mom do drugs together. She worked at the school. Man, you talking about it was tough, man. She didn't come to some of my graduations. And I had to figure out what it was that I needed to become, a better person, because I know this wasn't it. It was no way that this is what life is supposed to be, what life looked like. This wasn't it. And being the oldest of four on my mama's side, you talking about having to get them ready for school, man, trying to put hair in ponytails, walking everybody to school, feeding everybody, make sure everybody dressed. Man, you talking about I was robbed pretty much of a childhood, in essence, to just being a kid. I eventually got out there and, was a kid. My dad used to give me on weekends. So I eventually got out there and was able to, become a kid. But in those days, those was the dark days for me. And I had an uncle that was schizophrenic. He told me busting out all the windows. He slept on the back porch. Man, it's just so much we went through. And I felt like it had a major impact on my life. And some of the things I did when I got in relationships, it was definitely trying. But my childhood, I played sports, basketball. Growing up in those days in Chicago, you either did three things. You either played sports, you gangbang, or you ran for your life all the time. Those are the three things you did. Or just because that's what the streets were. But if you can hoop, or you play football or some type of sport where you was any good, then they ain't mess with you. They pretty much say, hey, he the one that's gonna make it out of the hood. He wants something for himself. But it was the neighborhood and environment when you look back on it was so toxic, man. And it was fun at the same time because you actually played outside, you had a good time outside, but it was like, man, now I gotta go in the house and share a bed or sleep on the floor. Man, you talking about them nights, man, where you really don't want to relive them. But my mom, man, didn't really know her growing up. Didn't know nothing about her. She never told us, she loved us. We didn't get hugs. Man, you talking about you carry that, and as you get older, you don't realize like you're not hugging your own girlfriend, your own kids. Of course, my kids make me, because they reach out hugs and I offer hugs and kisses. But initially, they wasn't getting none of that. So I was affected big time by her decisions, and we eventually went to counseling. Me and my mom, we did a counseling session, and I felt like I got everything I needed to know answered from her about, why the drugs, why the lying, why, just the whole why that I never had growing up. Because I was like, why, how could you miss my graduation? Like you didn't do nothing else for me to get here, but then you missed the day I got here. And man, you talking about tough, man. It was tough, when you think back on it. And all of this kind of inspired me to figure out what it is that we go through and how can we can make it better ourselves. And I think Will Smith said this. This is probably one of the greatest quotes that you could ever hear. And maybe he stole it from somebody, but he said it's not your fault what happened to you or us, but it's your responsibility to fix it. And so we owe ourselves a fair shake at life once we realize some of the things that we've been through, and you got to make corrections. Like, so if you grew up with domestic violence, you have to know, man, that is not how you treat a woman or, take care of anybody, when you are physically abusing them. When you are emotionally unavailable to women, you have to figure out a way to tap into that. You have to, like, we owe this to ourselves. And as some of this stuff, man, you never understand it. You try to make light of it and you do things to correct some of those actions. But man, you've been doing something for 20 some years and you feel like it's correct and it's not. So the adjustments take some time, but it doesn't help you to never seek any type of consultation. And this is me speaking to African Americans because, when you were growing up, you was told that you was crazy if you even attempted to discuss anything that had anything to do with counseling. Nah, you don't need to see no shrink. Ain't no wrong with me. I ain't crazy. And our parents were the ones that went through so much, but they had so many secrets. And just because you were taught that doesn't mean that it was correct. And there's so many of those things that the parents are like, this is how you do it. But when you get older, you're like, man, this is definitely not how you do it. You don't do stuff like this. You don't treat people like this. So, and just to, I was just touching on how we need to get more involved, men, with fixing our issues, man, as it pertains to mental health. We need to talk about it. We need to sit down and discuss it. But back to the Chicago lifestyle growing up. So, I think things starting to get better when I got 14. I was introduced to the Rebecca Crown Youth Center. And that's when I felt like I became a teen because it was an outlet. I didn't have to go home, play basketball, hung out, laugh, crack jokes. And to say this though, joking was like a coping mechanism for me because I didn't have him. He had 2 pair of pants and 3 shirts and, and this is before my father, and I'll get to that, other videos, but I didn't have what people had going to school. So my joking, my personality was a way of me coping to make it in school. But when I got home, man, I cried, man, because I'm like, this is not living, and we all cried together. It was a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of crying and, asking why we had to be the family that had to live a certain way. And not have the things that we wanted. So it was, man, it was tough, you know. But I think the reward of it all is understanding, and you get kids and you create that bond. But the youth center is where, you know, I got my first job. I learned the values of becoming a male. I went on a college tour, which inspired me to attend college. I met a lot of lifetime friends. And it was just, you know, those characteristics from that youth center. And, you know, Jerry Torrey, God rest his soul, was who I am and why I decided to take the social service route, because I wanted to give back. And I wanted to, you know, I know people always say, well, I used to interview people, they say, well, I want this job because I want to help somebody. For me, helping is always good, but I want that impact. I want to see you 10 years from now, and you walk up to me and say, Mr. LaRue, you remember we had that conversation and da-da? Like, that's the impact, you know, that I want to have on people's lives. And, you know, and I feel like I can, you know, based on, you know, what the talent that God has given me as it pertains to, you know, be an easy person to talk to, being transparent, you know, what, to me, I look like you know, as it pertains to, you know, counseling. I've been through what you've been through, but I look like you. You know, a lot of times people are visual, so they, you know, I look across the room from you, you don't look like you've been through anything. You judging, of course, but you more, you know, open to communicating with me or somebody who looks like me. And like I said, as I get into my channel, you know, I will touch on pretty much everything, but my motivation for counseling started when my mom was on drugs, pretty much, and I wanted answers, and I needed answers because I knew this wasn't life. Life wasn't like this. And, you know, my mom is at a, you know, constant battle. She's, you know, clean right now. You know, I love every bit of it. You know, I just seen her, and it was, you know, it feels good to see her in a different, you know, magnitude. I was just up in Chicago in September, but it feels good to see her, you know, doing good, you know, and I know she still battle, man. You've been on drugs over 20 plus years. Like, come on, man. You know, sometimes you tempted, you know, but I'm just glad that she's in a place where, you know, she can, you know, live her life. You know, that's all I ever wanted for her, was to live her life, and I'm good, you know, that she can. But like I said, I'll get into a lot of other topics. I just dropping, you know, videos to kind of warm everybody up to who I am and purpose of this channel. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, feedback. I'm open to all of it. Happy birthday to me as well. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. It is Friday, October 16th. My birthday is Monday. Y'all have a safe weekend. Peace. Subscribe, like, share. Thank you.